All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It is that time of the week, folks, my weekly picks in the world of the National Football League. And we're up to week number 16, stretch run time in the NFL season, as we only got 3 weekends left in the regular season before the postseason is here. And of course, the intensity is always there on an NFL weekend. And I think more than ever, and of course, for some of these teams right now, just prior to the start of the new calendar year, the postseason has begun because some of these teams, they're at the point of no return. They need to win and keep on winning to keep their playoff hopes alive. And for some teams, they're looking to try to sweeten the pot, if you will, for the postseason spots that they are already looking to secure. But nonetheless, uh, week 16 got started last night. I picked the Chargers at home over the Denver Broncos. I said 24-22. Still a very good game as the Chargers held off the Broncos to go to 9-6. And of course, they have now swept the season series from their division rival. And I got plenty more to talk about with that game and the outlook for the Los Angeles Chargers tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned to this channel. But nonetheless, we've got some very good games on tap for Saturday. So, if you're a football fan, you really got your fix between the NFL and the college football playoff. Just which one do you want to watch more? But nonetheless, we've got two games from the National Football League tomorrow. We've got a slew of games on Sunday as well as the Monday night affair. And with that said, here are my picks for week number 16 in this NFL season. Now, tomorrow, you've got the 13-1 Kansas City Chiefs hosting the 9-5 Houston Texans. Both of these teams have wrapped up their respective divisions. The Chiefs have their eyes set on home field advantage as they are looking to three-peat as Super Bowl champions. Now, we saw the Chiefs begin this week as underdogs, and now they're 3.5-point favorites. And for me, we all know that Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes suffered that high ankle sprain in the win last Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. And at first, it looked like Mahomes was going to be out, and now he's ready to go. My thing is this, okay? Mahomes is going to play. We know that. I'm just skeptical just due to the fact of the high ankle sprain of how effective that he's going to be. I want to see him go out there, and I want to see how effective that he looks. Honestly, my opinion, and of course, my opinion doesn't amount to a hill of beans for the folks within the Chiefs organization, but nonetheless, I would rest Mahomes tomorrow because it's a short turnaround from Sunday to Saturday. Again, now you're going up against the Texans, and then you still got to worry about the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day. The biggest thing for me is I get it that the Chiefs are trying to get home field advantage. I totally respect that. But you've got a two-game cushion on the Buffalo Bills, which is why I would take this time to rest Mahomes at least for tomorrow against the Houston Texans. I think Carson Wentz is, a very viable backup. And of course, we've seen Andy Reid throughout his Hall of Fame coaching career get it done with many different quarterbacks. But nonetheless, the Chiefs are putting Mahomes out there. And I want to see how that leg responds against this Texans defense, which can get after you at times. Now, speaking of getting after you, I think this Chiefs defense is going to get after Texans quarterback CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has not lit it up here in his sophomore season in the NFL like he did his rookie season. And that's to be expected because teams have a year's worth of game tape on you. And on top of that, this Chiefs defense is extremely stingy. This game is going to come down to field position. And then, like the case always is with the Kansas City Chiefs, you got to go out there and beat them. And when I say you got to go out there and beat them, you got to score touchdowns, but they don't give up a lot of touchdowns. You look at this contest, Kansas City is favored by 3.5. The over under is 42.5. And I'm going to take the Texans because I really want to see what Mahomes looks like on that ankle. But for me, the safer pick right now is Houston. I'm going to go Houston on the road 20-17. Now, the other big one tomorrow, a mega clash in the AFC North. You've got the 10-4 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to take on the 9-5 Baltimore Ravens. And when the Steelers and Ravens get together, it's kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoys, NFL style. You throw the rule books out. There's no love lost between both of these clubs. You always know it's going to be a very physical affair when the Steelers and Ravens get together. And of course, it would not be the month of December without the Steelers and Ravens playing in a very meaningful game. Pittsburgh won the first matchup between these two teams in the Steel City a couple of weeks ago. And the Ravens know they've got to win this one because a win here by the Steelers all but wraps up the AFC North for them. Of course, a win by the Ravens, and anything can happen over the next 2 weeks. Typical Ravens Steelers game, I think, is going to come down to the defenses, and it's going to come down to which offenses are able to score when they got the ball in their hands. No George Pickens again for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm putting the onus on this run game. We saw them have some effectiveness at times, but of course, on last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, but then that Najee Harris fumble really kind of opened up the floodgates, and the Steelers unfortunately were never able to recover. Throughout Lamar Jackson's illustrious NFL career, his kryptonite basically has been this Steelers defense. Can they go out there and stymie the multiple time MVP once again? Both teams are dealing with injuries. Okay. Baltimore comes into this contest favored by 7 points at home. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than that. The first team to 20 is going to win this game, but I'm going to take Baltimore at home by the score of 24-20. Now, moving ahead to Sunday, you've got the 2-12 New York Football Giants traveling to the ATL to take on the 7-7 Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons struggled, but they got back in the win column on Monday night with a win over the Vegas Raiders. However, it was not enough for veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins to keep his job as he has been benched in favor of the rookie Michael Penix Jr. So, of course, the question is going to be, how will this offense look with Penix at quarterback in comparison to Cousins? I'll tell you like this. Penix is not being thrown to the fire immediately because he's basically had a full season to get acclimated to the National Football League. And he's had the opportunity to be in the quarterback room with a solid veteran like Kirk Cousins. Now, he'll give the Falcons a little bit more mobility than Kirk Cousins does at this point in his career. And maybe it's going to be a jump start. And I don't think it's just going to be a jump start for the quarterback position for the Falcons because when there's a quarterback change, it's kind of like a coaching change. It puts everybody on notice. And this Falcons team, they got to play better as you know they've let their lead in the NFC on the NFC South rather slip. They're looking up at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this division, and the Falcons got to get back on track and get back on track in a hurry if they want to get to the postseason. The perfect thing for the Falcons and the perfect thing for Michael Penix is that this team is playing the New York Giants, and the Giants really simply do not have a lot going for them right now. Atlanta comes in favored by 8.5 at home. I think Penix is going to show some flashes. He's going to struggle at times as well. But nonetheless, I think the Falcons get the victory, and I'm going to take Atlanta by the score of 20-13. Now at Soldier Field, you've got the 4-10 Chicago Bears hosting the 12-2 Detroit Lions. And for Detroit, they've yet to lose on the road this season. Both of their losses have come at Ford Field. And of course, the most recent one came this past Sunday, courtesy of the Buffalo Bills as quarterback Josh Allen torched them. So many injuries on the defensive side of the football for the Detroit Lions, and it's starting to catch up to them. However, this could be a get right game defensively for for the Lions, excuse me, going up against this Bears offense. Yes, the Bears have the talent, but they don't have the offensive line to protect their rookie quarterback, one Caleb Williams. This Lions offense, they're going to continue to cook, and I think they will have a field day against this Bears defense. Chicago, to me, they're already in Cancun mode. It's cold in the Windy City, and they're just trying to get to the end of the finish line because this team has not been the same after that Hail Mary loss to the Commanders. I'm going to take the Lions on the road by the score of 31-17. to 20. Now, the two other teams that call the AFC North home, you got the 6-8 Cincinnati Bengals hosting the 3-1 Cleveland Browns in the Battle of Ohio. And for Cincinnati, they're looking to keep their faint playoff hopes alive as their backs are against the wall. We saw Cincinnati answer the bell last week against the Tennessee Titans, a bad team, and I think they do the same on Sunday against Cleveland. Bottom line is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are having phenomenal seasons for quarterback and wide receiver combo. I think that trend continues, and I'm going to take the Bengals at home by the score of 27-20. Now, in the AFC South, another team that's looking to hang around in the playoff picture, you got the 6-8 Indianapolis Colts hosting the 3-11 Tennessee Titans. And for Indianapolis, they lost a heartbreaker last week on the road to the Denver Broncos, and it kind of put their playoff push on life support. Luckily for the Colts, they're playing a Titans team that has so many questions at the quarterback position right now. Will Levis was benched in favor of Mason Rudolph, but at the end of the day, Mason Rudolph really isn't that much of an upgrade. The Colts have questions of their own at the quarterback position with Anthony Richardson, but from top to bottom, Indianapolis is the better team than Tennessee. And I'm going to take the Colts at home by the score of 30-20. Now at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, you got the 4-10 New York Jets hosting the 8-6 Los Angeles Rams. The Jets are 4-10, and back in August, most people expected them to be 10-4 at this point. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Jets finally won themselves a game last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're looking to make it two in a row. But they're going to have a tiger by the tail taking on these Rams. This Rams team under head coach Sean McVay, they're very disciplined. They're very fundamentally sound, and they've got a veteran quarterback in the pocket in the name of Matthew Stafford who can pick you apart. Two veteran quarterbacks, of course, Stafford for the Rams and Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. And I'm going to give the edge to Stafford and the Rams in this one, as I'm going to take Los Angeles on the road by the score of 23-20. Now in Landover, you've got the 9-5 Washington Commanders hosting the 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles, and Philadelphia is looking to wrap up the NFC East. There are some who feel that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. We got to wait and see, but nonetheless, pick your poison. Are you going to try to stop Saquon Barkley at running back, or are you going to try to stop this passing game with the likes of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith at wide receiver? Jaden Daniels, the phenomenal rookie quarterback for Washington, continues to get it done. More than likely, the Commanders will be postseason bound, but they're going to have they got their work cut out on Sunday. The Eagles are playing good, crisp football right now. They're favored on the road by 3.5 in this one. I think they wrap up the NFC East. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think when it's all said and done, Philly doesn't have to leave the Northeast region until they get to the Super Bowl, because I think they have a good shot at getting home field advantage. They take a step closer to that on Sunday with the 31-24 win. Now in Charlotte, you've got the 7-7 Arizona Cardinals traveling to take on the 3-11 Carolina Panthers. Carolina's been showing a lot of fight, a lot of spunk in recent weeks, but it has not always resulted in them getting victories. For the Cardinals, they are trying to stay in the race in the NFC West for that division crown. And first things first, we know about Kyler Murray at quarterback. We know about Marvin Harrison Jr. at wide receiver. But the engine that makes the Cardinals offense go right now is veteran running back James Conner. And if this Carolina front cannot stop him, they are going to be in for a long afternoon. The Cards come into this contest favored by 5 on the road. The over-under is 47.5. I'm going to take the Cardinals by a touchdown, 23-16. Now in the Pacific Northwest, you've got the 8-6 Seattle Seahawks hosting the 12-2 Minnesota Vikings. And for Seattle, it's been an up and down year, but they've been an up and down team over the last couple of years for the most part. And, for veteran quarterback Geno Smith, how is he going to look against this Vikings defense? I think Brian Flores, the phenomenal Vikings defensive coordinator, cooked something up to try to throw Geno Smith and the Seahawks offense off their game. while Sam Darnold and company on offense for the Vikings do just enough because, again, Justin Jefferson at wide receiver is a handful and then some. Vikings come in favored by 3. I'm going to take Minnesota by 5, 27-22. Now in Orchard Park, it's going to be a cold one, 15 degrees, and this is a 4:25 start on the East Coast when the 11-3 Buffalo Bills host the 3-11 New England Patriots. And we've seen Buffalo in the last couple of weeks. They have been rolling, especially on offense, as quarterback Josh Allen looks like he might be the NFL's MVP this year. We've seen the Patriots. They've been game all season long with rookie quarterback Drake May and, of course, first-year head coach Gerard Mayo. New England will put up a fight, but they are up against it here. 14-point underdogs on the road. I'm going to take Buffalo and the over 41-17. Now, Christmas might come early in Las Vegas for the winner of, or the loser rather, of the Raiders and the Jags because they've got a better chance of getting the first overall pick. Jacksonville is currently at 3-11, while the Raiders are currently at 2-12. I don't think this is a game that the casual fan is going to pay attention to. I don't think it's a game that the hardcore fan for each of these respective teams is going to pay attention to. The bottom line is somebody's got to win this game. The Raiders are favored by 2 points at home. I really do believe the first team that scores a touchdown wins. And I'm going to take the Raiders at home by the score of 16-13. Now in South Florida, you got the 6-8 Miami Dolphins hosting the 6-8 San Francisco 49ers, and two injury-riddled teams that are holding on to faint playoff hopes. A lot of expectations for both of these teams coming into the season, but at the end of the day, the injury bug and a lack of consistency have derailed both of them. I think this is a back and forth affair. Somebody's got to win, and I'm going to take Miami at home by the score of 20-19. Now, on Sunday night, you've got the 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting traveling to take on the 6-8 Dallas Cowboys. And for Tampa Bay, they're flying into town real high, okay, because they just went on the road to Inglewood last Sunday and destroyed the Los Angeles Chargers. And they've now taken a step closer to winning the NFC South for the fourth consecutive year. Baker Mayfield does have issues with the turnovers, but this Bucks defense, even with all of their injuries, they still rise to the occasion, and they find a way to keep Tampa in games. I'm looking at this Bucks offensive line going up against Micah Parsons because since Micah Parsons has returned from the injury for Dallas, he's playing like a man possessed. Two phenomenal wide receivers going at it in this game. You've got the veteran and the future Hall of Famer Mike Evans, who continues to get it done for Tampa, and then of course the young stud in CD Lamb for Dallas. But nonetheless, Baker Mayfield, even with all of the interceptions, he looks like he has really finally found an NFL home in Tampa. I think this has the potential to be one of the better games of the weekend, but I'm going to take the Bucks on the road by the score of 27-24. And finally, on Monday night at Lambeau Field, it's going to be the 10-4 Green Bay Packers hosting the 5-9 New Orleans Saints. And for Green Bay, they're playoff bound. Their chances of winning the NFC North are slim, but they are still in the mix. And I think this right here is a point for the Packers to really round into playoff form. So many injuries for New Orleans. Green Bay is favored big in this one by 2 touchdowns. They need to take advantage of the Saints in this contest, and they will. Originally, I said 31-17 Green Bay, but I'm going to change my score. I'm going to go 34-17 in favor of the Pack. So, folks, those are my picks for week number 16 in this big NFL season. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line to be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.